I wanted to get to my next guest. He's James Galbraith, a professor at the University of Texas. James, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, it does seem there's so much talk about Greece and will it default, will it not default? And it's concerning investors, despite all the reassurance that we've had, or that we've tried to have from the European Union. It's just not working. Is this country going to default?
Well, I can't speak for what Greece will do, but it is a problem of Europe. And as you said correctly, this is in spite of reassurances from the European Union. It is the markets expressing a lack of confidence in the capacity of the European Union to come together and deal with this problem. So it's as much Germany's problem and France's problem as it is Greece's problem right now.
And then you have analysts, James, actually saying that it's a problem of the market. They're overreacting, and they say that this essentially is hedge funds trying to test the limits of the markets, which could essentially become a default for Greece. Do you believe in this?
That's perfectly plausible, but again, that is not a problem which a country as small as Greece can deal with on its own. This has to be dealt with by the larger framework of the European Union, and the European leadership has to make up its mind. Does it want the euro to survive? Does it want the monetary union and indeed the European Union itself to move forward, or is it going to put up with a setback that's being dealt to it by circumstance, by the financial crisis, by the markets?
The president of the ECB yesterday said that default is still not an option for Greece. What is the best outcome for this country? Do the European countries have to actually step in and say, well, we're ready to offer you money?
Well, there needs to be a comprehensive change in European policy toward the economic crisis. Europe has got a tremendous problem of unemployment. It's not just Greece. It's unemployment in Spain is skyrocketing. Portugal has got problems. Italy has got problems. And those problems are the counterpart of the failure of Germany and France to run a policy that is really effective against the crisis as a whole. Their surpluses are the deficits of the other countries. This is a balanced accounting framework. And so long as they are not acting as a unit, the markets are going to be able to pry them apart.
James, have we done anything to prevent the next financial crisis? The political will doesn't seem to be there anymore in terms of regulations. We had a lot of words at the G20, but now that the recovery is firmly on its way, have we lost our way?
Well, we have not taken the steps we need to take to get the financial system under control. But at the same time, I'm not so confident that the recovery is solid and enduring. We still have in the United States an enormous problem of household debt, household insolvency effect, as people are upside down in their mortgages in vast, vast numbers. And as long as that problem remains, the U.S. is going to be struggling against this. It's going to be, yes, we can stabilize the economy, but can we really make it grow under those circumstances? I don't think the verdict is in on that.
Would you rule out a double-dip recession at this point? I'm
not looking to a double-dip recession because that would require something new and dreadful on top of all the dreadful things that have already occurred. But what I am skeptical about is that there will be a speedy return to high levels of job creation, which is, of course, the requirement for political success in the United States. Without that, any policy is going to be judged to have been not successful.
But do we need an extra stimulus package in the United States, but also in Europe? Or actually, do we now really need to rein in these deficits or risk being like Greece?
I think what we need, we're going to be faced with deficits. We'll get them anyway. It happens. Either it will be because of high unemployment or because of active policies. Active policies would be much better. They should be, however, medium and long term. They should be directing our economies toward a path of growth that can be thought through for 5 or 10 years. That's what we should be looking for, not something that's a stimulus for another year or two. That won't do it, in my view.
James, very quickly, what's your biggest fear for this year?
My biggest fear right now is the one we've just been talking about, that there will be an uncontrolled crisis in Europe. I think that is the great danger, and we shall see whether they're up to dealing with it.
Yeah, and certainly it's what the markets are worried about as well. James, thank you so much. James Galbraith there.